Let's start with this. PMI down to a 13-month low.
Definitely, it's down about 8.1 points, and it's about 43.4 points now from 51. And it's a real indication of what we've seen. We saw States SA earlier this year saying it's lost the biggest amount of jobs in that sector. And you're really seeing the knock-on effects of the economy. As long as manufacturing managers feel that economy is growing slow, they're not going to have any orders come in or make any major movements in terms of employment. This particular PMI from ABSA looks at the activity in the sector, so how much production is going out and how companies are willing to hire new staff, which is not happening at the moment.
And manufacturing managers are saying that the worst is actually still to come.
Yes, they are, stocking less. They don't want a lot of things in their inventory, so they're stocking stock that they know will move from the shelves and they can be able to sell that. And there's been less sales orders as well coming through. And they're saying the current economic climate doesn't give them confidence to go out and have more expansion or use some of their capital to expand their businesses. So they're going to have a wait-and-see approach to the rest of the year.
Yeah. Sun International seeing a 4% growth in income, but that's not the full story, isn't it?
Definitely. Sun International up 7% today on the market, releasing quite decent results, if one can put it that way. Some of their resorts still doing quite well, but they're grappling with a business in Nigeria that they're trying to get out of. We know MTN also had a problem operating in that part of the world, but it's a business that they're trying to get out of, and investors, reacted well to those news. So, to have it at 7% on results day is quite good for them, which it's a good forecast, and they're trying to get out on loss-making businesses. Nigeria was one of those loss-making businesses for them, but they're also not speaking about too much expansion, just doing what they do best and making sure that their linen is clean.
Yeah, and Naspers struggling at the back of some tight regulations in China. What's happening there?
Well, Naspers is invested in a company called Tencent, which is a big digital company, also a gaming company as well. They have a stake of about 31%. So when Tencent does well, naturally Naspers also goes over about 3,000 Rand a share, one of the biggest, traded shares on the JSE. But it also weighs down the JSE if Tencent goes down. What's recently happened is that regulators in China have, blocked some of the gaming rights, saying it's, also too violent, and they've frozen all gaming rights. And of course, this is big business for Tencent, and that saw them lose about 19% in profits. They also made them stop one of their games called World Hunter, which was also stopped at that particular time. So it's a business that's not getting too much traction at the moment because of those regulations, and because that's happening, it's hurting the Naspers share price, and which has been down for a third session now since last week.
Interesting that you mentioned this story, because when you think about South Africa and China relations, you see our government saying our regulation needs to ease up so that Chinese business and any foreign business can easily operate in South Africa.
Definitely, we are a country that's looking to open up for investors. And of course, we're going for that 1.2 trillion Rand target in terms of getting investors into the country. So you want to be seen as a tax haven of some sort, and also easing ways for businesses to come in and register and actually set up shop in South Africa. So we should be saying things like that, especially when you're being watched by the international community. But in terms of China, they're still very conservative, actually, in terms of some of their regulations. And things can go, by the whim, and, they can decide whenever to say, no, you know what, we're freezing gaming rights, as they've done with Tencent. And that's why we're seeing Naspers also, go down on the market.
All right, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Motheo.